Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Today, on day 8, oh my goodness, day 8, we are going to be talking about why we've done all this work the last week and what it has to do with reaching your goals and why we set the goals that we do and how you can decide what goals you want to set today and then truly crush them. Sounds like a lot, but it actually comes down to a pretty simple principle. Now, there's a self-help guy out there by the name of Tony Robbins. I'm sure you guys have heard of him. I've mentioned him before, but he came up with this absolutely brilliant philosophy that states that humans have 6 core needs. And the problem is that these core needs can sometimes be in opposition with one another. So as we go through life, as we go through our personal journey, certain human needs become more important to us than others. And we usually end up having 2 primary needs. And the problem with these 2 primary needs is a lot of times the needs that we end up focusing on aren't the ones that are going to truly bring us fulfillment. They may bring us success, they may bring us fleeting happiness, but we don't usually focus on the needs that truly bring us fulfillment and long-lasting happiness. That at the end of our lives we say, yes, I have accomplished what I would like to accomplish. And so I'm going to take you through those, and then we're going to talk about how you can maybe really shift the goals and the needs that you have been focusing on to needs that may bring you more fulfillment, and then set goals based on those. So the 2 first human needs are certainty and uncertainty. So people think, wow, how can those both be needs? Well, think about it. So certainty. We all like to know what's going to happen to a point. We all like to come home to the same house. We like to know where we're going to sleep. We like to know pretty much what we're going to eat every day. We like to watch the same TV shows. We like to watch the same movies over and over, even though we know what's going to happen because it brings us a level of certainty. We know we like it. We stay with the same partner for 50 years, most of us. We do the same things and crave similarity and comfort that is brought with certainty. And so this is a need that people who are type A, people who like to be in control, people who really like to know what's going to happen, this is a need that's usually pretty high on the list for them. Now, the flip side of the coin is uncertainty. So this is a need for spontaneity. This is a need for excitement. This is a need for not knowing how things are going to turn out. So this is why we like suspense movies. This is why we like movies with a twist at the end, like The Sixth Sense, where, I'm not going to ruin it for you guys if you still haven't seen it, but there's a huge twist at the end, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, that was a great movie, because they weren't expecting it. We all like uncertainty, so that's why we go out and try new things. That's why we get a rush of chemical hormones in our body when we go and try something new and we like it. Our body goes, oh yeah, that was great. Let's do that again. Then bringing on the certainty, because your body now knows that you like it. So some people, uncertainty is one of their 2 primary needs. So you think about those people who are adventure seekers out there. Now, in a way, that almost is a little bit of certainty because they know they like uncertainty. But there's people like me personally out there who really don't like uncertainty. If you told me that I could do probably the same thing every day, pretty much all the time, I would be okay with that as long as it was something I liked. And so that's a need for me that's not as important, but it's also a need that sometimes I go, hey, you know what? I need to meet that sometimes because I'm not being very adventurous. This actually is a great way to do uncertainty. I don't know if you guys are going to like this course. I don't know if these videos are going to bomb. I don't know if I'm actually any good at this, but I enjoy it, and I think I'm providing a service. So I'm going out there and I'm trying to do something that I think is important, that I think will be successful, and through that I'm getting that little rush of chemicals. So it doesn't have to be like jumping off of a mountain. It could just simply be going up and asking a guy out on a date, or going to a new restaurant and trying a type of food you never had. Lots of things can bring us uncertainty, but that's a need. So we need both certainty and uncertainty. The next two needs in the 6 human need categories are significance and then love and connection. So when I say significance, a lot of people are like, I don't think I need to feel significant. That's not important to me. If you think of your average teenager and you think of how they are trying to fit in, a lot of times they're saying, but a lot of times what they're doing is they're trying to fit in by standing out, or they're trying to stand out by fitting in. So you think of the teenagers that like go and decide to get tattoos and piercings and dye their hair black and wear goth clothing. There's nothing wrong with that, but in a way they're trying to achieve significance. They're trying to be important in a group of people. So they want another group of people to value them. I can think of some pretty poignant examples in our political system right now of people who really put significance very high on their list of priorities, and make it known that what they're doing is great, or kind of are like very interested in having people see the good things they've done and making a point to point out how significant they are. So this is important for all of us. You know, I like to be recognized as doing a good job in my job, at home, by my family, by my coworkers, by my boss, by you guys. I like to feel like I am important to the world, but if this is one of your primary needs, if this is one of the 2 places that you're focusing, that could be a real problem, right? Because you're focusing on how do I look to the outside world and not what's inside and what really matters about what I'm doing. So this is one that, yes, they're all important, but this is one if you focus on, this could cause some problems in your life. You might get to the end of life and go, wow, I focused on looking good, but I didn't focus on being good. And then the next one is connection and love. And the reason why we really, Robbins kind of distinguishes this into 2 categories is because they are 2 separate categories. Love requires what word? Vulnerability. And a lot of people aren't willing to go after true vulnerable love. So a lot of people settle for connection, which means, oh yeah, no, I'm into that too. Or, oh yeah, we both really like the same thing. Or, oh wow, yeah, we met and we get along and we have really great conversations and we're friends. This is a really important category. But if you just stay in the connection side and you're never getting over to the love side, this category can actually make you feel pretty unfulfilled, because you're not truly, if this is a need of yours, you need to be loved, but the only thing you're getting is connection, or sometimes not even that. This is the category that if this is really important to people and this doesn't get met, this is what makes people suicidal. This is what makes people depressed. This is what can drive people to do some really horrible things. Both of these categories are very, being significant and doing a good job and having people recognize you for your talents and your efforts and being really connected with people and loving people are 2 very important things. And when these 2 categories are not met, this is where you see violence. This is where we see not caring about others and trying to put myself first, and I don't give a crap about you. I'm worrying about me. Because these categories aren't met and people feel like they're not important to other people, and so then they start devaluing others. And so I think if you think about society today and you think of all the horrible things that have happened, you can see how having these categories not be met but having them be important people could then go out and do some pretty horrible things. So those are the 4 kind of shallower, I don't want to say shallow because they're very important, but the 4 of the 6 human needs. There's 2 core needs that when you really focus on at least meeting one, if not both of these, this is what's really going to bring you fulfillment. Are you excited? Do you want to know what they are? Okay, well, you're already doing one. So you're prioritizing one by taking this course. So yay, good for you. It's growth. Progress is the key to happiness. Continuing to do well, continuing to make progress on good, solid goals that you set that will help others, that will help you grow. That is a key, fundamental piece of success and feeling happy. So, growth. We actually are going to spend a whole week on growth and contribution. And we're going to talk about contribution in a second, but we're going to spend a whole week on these core needs coming up because they're so important and because I want to really help you guys see how setting goals around these can just make your life just take off. So growth can be anything. Growth can be I'm taking a new career and I'm learning a lot. Growth can be, I've been drinking too much and I want to really focus on finding other ways to soothe my anxiety. So I'm going to stop drinking for the next 30 days. Growth can be, I really need to work on this goal, but I don't have any motivation. So let me join a group like this. Growth can be, I am going to stop and pray every morning for 5 minutes, and I am going to pray that I'm not going to yell at my kids, or I'm not going to get frustrated with my family. And then really trying to carry that out every day. Growth can be anything, a book, an audio tape, a course like this, a class, a gym class. It could be anything that you set into motion that helps you become more of the person that you want to be. Okay? So this is a core belief. This is a core need. If you are not focusing on this or contribution, if you're not focusing on one of those at any given time, you're probably going to be pretty unhappy. And then the last one, which I've alluded to, is contribution. So contribution is incredibly important because have you guys ever noticed how when you give somebody, like you find the perfect gift for somebody, like they're just going to love it. And you wrap it and it's beautiful and it's just awesome, and you take it to them and you're like practically like you can't even sit still. You're like, I'm so excited for you to open this. So imagine 2 scenarios. Imagine the scenario where they open that present and they are like, oh my gosh, you are amazing. I cannot believe you thought of me like this. This is going to help me do X, Y, and Z. This makes me, I can tell how much you love me. I can tell, I love that you knew exactly what to grab me, get to buy for me. I am just so thankful. Thank you so much for helping me. How good does that make you feel? Right? When you give to somebody, when you give your time, when you give your money, particularly your time, when you give your effort and your time, money can, but particularly when you're putting something in, and they come back and they just thank the heck out of you. How good does that feel? I'm like, yeah, I'll come do this. I'll do this every day. Like, what else do you need, right? That feels so good. That warms our hearts because that is part of the core human need of contributing, of being of use, of being important, but not from a significant standpoint, from a contributing to the world standpoint. Now, I want you to imagine another scenario. I want you to imagine that you did all this with the present and you give it to your friend and they're like, oh yeah, thanks. And they push it over the side. It's like half unwrapped. They don't care. How does that make you feel? How does it make you feel when you work very hard to contribute and somebody doesn't value it? That's like the worst feeling ever, right? I mean, that's worse than that for me personally. For most people, I think that feeling is just there's not that's one of the worst feelings in the world. So, this is why contribution is so important. And this is why you have to figure out the best way that you can contribute, the best way that you can find the gifts that you personally have, the things that you are really good at, the things that you just knock out of the park. And it doesn't have to be like a job. It could just be, you know what? I am fantastic at reading other people's emotions and telling where they're at and getting them into a happier place. How useful is that skill in any job, in life? Or how about, like me, I know that I have a skill at connecting with others and helping give them information that can help them. Whether it's as a nurse practitioner or as a teacher or running a course like this, that's something I'm good at. I'm very passionate, it comes out in when I talk, and it helps people. So I can use that anywhere. It doesn't matter what job I'm in. It doesn't matter what goal I'm setting. I can use that to help me reach my goals. So figure out your best way of contribution. Really sit down, journal, think about it, ask other people, ask the people close to you, how do I best contribute? What are some of my best skills that if I used to help others would just set my life on fire in a good way? So for me, when I first did this exercise, I ranked really high on certainty and significance. And significance was actually a surprise to me because significance, I thought, well, I don't need to be important. Like, that's not important to me. I'd rather be contributing. But what I realized is everything I was doing, I was looking outward to somebody to go, oh, you did a good job. You did a good job. You did a great job. I was looking for all of this praise and this attention for doing a good job, instead of focusing on contribution, really looking at, okay, it doesn't matter if anybody tells me if I did a good job. I can look at how I've contributed to others. I can look at the good work I'm doing. I can look at how I'm helping and have that be enough. And if somebody gives me a compliment and says, yeah, that was great, thank you so much, awesome, icing on the cake, great. But even if I can just see what I've done through the work that I'm doing, that's plenty. That's great. So I want you guys to really look at where when I talk about these 6 things, which things you've been ranking as most important. And I want you to maybe reevaluate and see where you think now the 2 areas you want to focus are on. So for me, the 2 areas I've been focusing on instead of certainty and significance are love, not connection, but true love, like trying to literally love everybody I'm coming into contact with, including all of you. I love you. But also contribution. Growth for me has always been a really strong human need, but it's one of those that I need it, but I never have to focus on doing it. Like, growth is just there. Growth is just, that's one of the things that I fundamentally do. But I really wanted to focus on love and contribution because I knew that focusing on those 2 things would just make my life explode in such a positive way. So you guys can, like I said, you guys can focus on whichever 2 you think are the most important to you, which needs you think you want to prioritize. But I suggest you keep growth or contribution as one of those 2 primary needs, because without one or both of those, you're going to have a very hard time finding fulfillment. Now, these 6 human needs, how do they apply to our goals? Well, once you figure, so you know what category you want to work on. So whether it's health, money, spirituality, any of those categories in the life wheel that we talked about, one of those 6 categories. Well, now I want you to take that category, you're focusing on that category, and I want you to look at the 2 primary needs that you are focusing on meeting in your daily life. And I want you to see if you can merge those 2 together. Okay? So I want you to come up with 1 to 3 goals for the next 3 weeks that merges those two ideas together. So for me, honestly, my goal, I knew that I really needed to work on my health, and I really want to contribute to others. So part of my health is making sure that I am getting enough sleep, that I am setting a schedule, that I am exercising every day in some form, and that I am eating relatively well. So that's one of my goals. And that goal, I know, meets my contribution need and my love and connection need, because when I meet that goal, I am nicer. I love on my family way more. I'm happier in these videos. I'm happier when I'm talking with you guys. I feel like I can give more to the people in my life. I can contribute more because I feel so much better. I feel so much more alive, and that comes through in my relationships with people and in my interactions with people. So that's one of my main goals. One of my other main goals is to actually have this group go really well. So I want to make sure I'm contributing to you guys, and I want to give you guys a ton of love. I want to give you guys a ton of just attention and help you know how awesome you are, and help you guys get to a place where you feel great and you feel like you can achieve your goals. And so that for me is another goal for this. Every day, being engaged with you, being there for you, talking with you guys, giving you these videos. And I know that I'm giving you love and I'm contributing. So another goal that is helping me meet my 2 primary needs. So that's how I want you guys to approach this, okay? So do some journaling today. It's Sunday. Hopefully you have the day off. I'm headed in for a 19-hour shift, but I hope you have the day off. If you don't, you can do it tonight or tomorrow, early tomorrow morning, but really journal this out. Sit down, write out where you think your needs are now, the 2 needs that you want to focus on, and then think of 1 to 3 goals for the next 3 weeks that you want to really focus on meeting that will both help you in that category where you need the most work, that will elevate you in all the other categories on the wheel, and that will meet your 2 new primary needs that you're focusing on. So today was a long video, but I really hope it's going to help you. This is one of the most exciting videos, I think, because I think it helps us really pull everything together. And now you're going to know your goals by the end of the work you do after this video, and we are just going to crush them together. Okay? So I need you, once you figure out what your goals are, send them to me. All right? We'll be talking about them on Thursday during our Zoom calls. So you got to know what they are by then. And if you don't know what they are by then, you know, there's something going on, because the whole point of this is to be working on some badass goals. So, okay. I hope you guys have a fantastic end to your weekend. I hope that you have a day filled of love and positivity and just wonderfulness. And I will talk to you tomorrow.